Welcome back, children, to our social studies class. Children, today we are going to discuss the second chapter of geography, that is the atmosphere. Now, children, you all must be aware of this term atmosphere, right? If you remember, in the first chapter, we studied about the different spheres of the earth, okay? We studied about lithosphere, that is sphere of rock. Then we studied about hydrosphere, sphere of water. And then we studied about atmosphere, that is the sphere of air. Now in this chapter we are going to study in detail about atmosphere, okay? Now children, atmosphere is the blanket of air, okay, which surrounds our planet Earth. And it extends, how much does it extend? It extends more than 1,000 kilometers, yes, above the Earth's surface. Understood? And it is held in place by the Earth's force of gravity. You all are aware of the gravitational force, right? So, because of that gravitational force of the Earth, it is held in its place. Now children, talking about the composition of atmosphere. Okay, see, air which makes up the atmosphere is a mixture of several gases. Air जो atmosphere बनाता है, okay, that is a mixture of several gases. बहुत सारी gases का mixture है air, okay. Now children, different gases are present in different amounts, okay. Nitrogen makes up around 78%, then oxygen 21%, carbon dioxide 0.03%, okay. And the remaining 0.97% includes other constituents. Which constituents? Argon, ozone, water vapor, okay. Not only this, there are some dust particles also present in the atmosphere. Understood? Now children, one question might arise in your mind that how this composition of the lower part of atmosphere remains constant. ये जो composition है atmosphere में अलग अलग gases का वो constant कैसे रहता है? See, the gases present in the atmosphere are used up in certain processes. कुछ ना कुछ process में जो gases है जो atmosphere में present है वो use up हो जाती है. But there are some other processes also जिससे ये जो gases है वो वापस atmosphere में release हो जाती है. Understood? So the composition remains fairly constant. Here children, they have given you an example of atmospheric nitrogen. See, that atmospheric nitrogen, it gets converted to nitrogen compounds. How? By lightning and by certain types of organisms. Which organisms? Organisms such as nitrogen fixing bacteria, which is present in the soil, okay, or it is present in the roots of some plants. Now what happens is plants absorb nitrogen compounds and convert them to proteins. Plants जो है वो क्या करते हैं? वो absorb करते हैं nitrogen compounds को, okay, from the soil or from the roots, okay, and then they convert it into proteins. Now proteins, children, they are taken in by animals. How will animals take in the proteins? By eating plants, okay, or other animals, okay. Now when denitrifying bacteria, it acts on animal wastes and dead bodies of plants and animals, then during that time nitrogen is returned to the atmosphere. So did you understand the whole process? Okay. Now they have given you another example of another gas, that is oxygen. Now where is oxygen used up, children? It is used up in which processes? In processes like respiration of organisms, then burning of fuels, decay of organic matter, right? It is replaced by the oxygen released by green plants during photosynthesis. Now you all must be aware of this particular term photosynthesis. Okay, you might have studied in your science subject also. It is a process by which green plants turn carbon dioxide and water into food. By using which energy? Energy from the sunlight. Now first of all children, try to understand these two sentences. Okay, what they are trying to tell you is oxygen जो है वो ये सारे process में use up हो गई. कौन से processes? Respiration of organisms, burning of fuels, decay of organic matter, right? अब ये oxygen use up हो गई but वो replace भी हो गई. कैसे replace हुई? By the process of photosynthesis, the green plants released oxygen in the air. So now did you understand? It became constant, okay? Use up भी हो गई पर वापस replace भी हो गई. Okay, so again read out that particular two sentences, then you will understand it more clearly. Next, see what they are telling. Now they are talking about carbon dioxide, children. See, fourth line. Similarly, the carbon dioxide used up during photosynthesis is replaced by the carbon dioxide released by respiration of organisms, burning of fuels and decay of organic matter. अब ये जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है चिल्ड्रन, ओके, दैट इज यूज्ड अप ड्यूरिंग विच प्रोसेस? ड्यूरिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस, राइट? नाउ हाउ विल दिस गैस गेट रिप्लेस्ड? It will get replaced by the carbon dioxide which is released by respiration of organism, burning of fuels and the decay of organic matter. So now did you understand how this gas also remains constant in the atmosphere? So this way children, nature helps in maintaining balance, okay, balance of different gases. We studied about nitrogen, we studied about oxygen, carbon dioxide, okay, how it remains balanced in the atmosphere, okay. Next, what they are telling, however, human activities are disturbing this balance by polluting the air. Nature has different ways of maintaining the balance, children, but we humans, our activities are disturbing this particular balance. ये जो balance बना हुआ है उसे कौन खराब कर रहा है? We human beings. Understood? By polluting the air, we are disturbing this balance. Now talking about air pollution, children. What is air pollution? Any undesirable change in the composition of air is known as air pollution. Composition of air जो हमने अभी पढ़ा, okay, we studied about different gases, how much amount of different gases are present in atmosphere, right? उसमें अगर कोई undesirable change होता है, undesirable मतलब unpleasant या unwanted, okay, then we call it as air pollution. This may happen if the processes regulating the composition of air are disturbed or if harmful substances are added to the air. Air pollution कब होगा? जब जो ये process है जो composition of air को balance में रखता है, okay, उस process में अगर कोई disturbance आता है और अगर कोई harmful substance जो है वो air में add up हो जाता है, then air pollution can be caused. Now these harmful substances, children, which are causing pollution, what are they known as? They are known as pollutants. Now in the next part of this topic, children, they are talking about the chief polluting agents, okay, how we are disturbing the balance of different gases in the air by polluting the air, okay, so just go through it. Now talking about the layers of atmosphere, children. Atmosphere की कितनी layers है? It can be divided into 5 layers, okay? Atmosphere may be divided into how many layers? 5. On the basis of composition, temperature and many other properties. Now see. Now they are starting from the bottom. bottommost layer is troposphere, then comes stratosphere, then mesosphere, then thermosphere, and at the last exosphere. Okay, and each of them may vary in thickness. Now we will study about each of them in detail. Now talking about the lowest layer, children, that is troposphere. Okay, it is also one of the densest layer, and 3/4 of the mass of atmosphere is contained within this layer, that is troposphere. Now how much does it extend? See, the extent of this layer is about 18 kilometers above the equator. Above the equator कितना है इसका extension? 18 kilometers. But only about 8 kilometers above the two poles. अगर हम poles की बात करें तो it is only about 8 kilometers above them. Okay. Now this layer, children, that is troposphere, it is like a blanket. How? Because it prevents days from becoming very hot. Day time में हमें बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी से ये layer बचाती है. Okay? And during the night time from becoming very cold. ज़्यादा night time में ज़्यादा ठंड ना हो जाए उससे भी ये layer हमें बचाती है. And as you will move up, children, within this layer, the temperature will keep on decreasing. Okay. Now what else you will find in this layer, children? See, you will find most of the water vapor. Okay, then clouds जो है वो भी इसी layer में आपको मिलेंगे. Then dust particles of atmosphere, they are found in this layer. Okay, then they are telling that troposphere term, okay, is there. It gets its name from a Greek word. Which Greek word? Tropos. Okay, and what is the meaning of tropos? Tropos means turning. This is because all the weather changes that we experience take place in the troposphere. Weather changes जो आप experience करते हो, children, change in weather, that takes place in which layer? That takes place in this particular layer, that is troposphere. Next, they are talking about tropopause, children. What is tropopause? It is the upper limit of troposphere. Okay, and here the general decrease in temperature, it stops with the altitude. Altitude means height. Now talking about the next layer. We studied about troposphere. Now we will study about stratosphere. Now as I told you, children, stratosphere is the next layer which is above troposphere. Okay, and its extension is around 50 kilometers above Earth's surface. Next they are telling, children, कि इस layer, stratosphere layer का एक part जो है, that part we call it as ozonosphere. Why it is known as ozonosphere? Because it has the maximum concentration of ozone in the atmosphere. Now you all might have studied about the ozone layer, yes or no? Okay, it protects us from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun, okay, by absorbing it. Okay, and the ozonosphere becomes quite warm by absorbing these rays. Okay, in a way it is protecting us from the harmful ultraviolet rays. That is why a part of stratosphere is known as ozonosphere. सो ओजोन लेयर जो है, चिल्ड्रन, वो आपको किससे प्रोटेक्ट करती है? वो आपको हार्मफुल अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज जो है सन की, उससे प्रोटेक्ट करती है. ओके, एंड it is present in stratosphere. Now let us talk about the next layer, that is mesosphere. Now first we studied about troposphere, then comes stratosphere and then mesosphere. Okay, it extends up to 80 kilometers above Earth's surface. Okay, and in this layer, children, the temperature decreases. Temperature जो है वो decrease होता जाता है with altitude, that means with height. Okay, and what they are telling here is meteors entering the atmosphere usually burn up in the mesosphere. Meteors जो enter होते हैं atmosphere में, okay, वो इस particular layer में burn up होते हैं. That is mesosphere. Now children, next we are going to talk about thermosphere. Okay, first we studied about troposphere, then stratosphere, then comes mesosphere, and now thermosphere. It extends up to a height of around 450 kilometers, children, above Earth's surface. Okay, and the temperature rises rapidly with altitude in this layer. Now here, remember this thing. We studied in mesosphere that the temperature decreases with altitude, right? But here in thermosphere, the temperature increases. It rises rapidly. Rapidly means fastly, okay? With altitude, that means with height in this particular layer. Now talking about exosphere, children. This layer, it is the outermost layer of atmosphere, children, okay? And the upper reaches of this layer merge with the outer space. इस layer का जो upper part है, okay, that merge means mix होना, okay? It merges with the outer space. The temperature in the exosphere is very high. If we talk about the temperature in this layer, exosphere layer, तो यहाँ का temperature जो है, that is very high. Now children, in the next paragraph, they are talking about another layer, that is ionosphere, okay? It starts at about 50 kilometer and extends to around 1000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. And in this layer, children, molecules of atmospheric gases, they are broken into charged particles, okay? And what are these known as? Ions, okay? And this layer, children, it helps in sending back radio waves towards the earth, okay? And therefore it helps in radio transmission. Now our next topic of discussion, children, is weather and climate. Often what happens, children, in place of climate we use term weather, in place of weather we use climate. We don't know the major difference between the two. These two terms are totally different from each other. So we will study about them in detail, and then you will come to know that where you have to use the term weather and where you have to use climate. Now, the term weather means the state of atmosphere at a particular place at a particular time. एक particular time पे, एक particular place पे, what is the state of atmosphere, that is referred to as weather. Okay, weather can change within few minutes, it can change within few hours, okay? So, weather जो है, okay, that refers to short term changes in the atmosphere, children. Whereas if we talk about climate, then what is climate? See, climate of a place, children, is the average of all the weather conditions at a place over a long period of time. Understood? And climate takes very long time to change, whereas in weather we studied weather can change from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. Understood? But climate takes a very long time to change because it is the average of all the weather conditions, okay, of a place for a long period of time. Now children, this particular term weather जो है, that includes information on weather elements, okay? Which elements? Elements such as temperature, air pressure, winds, humidity, cloud cover and rainfall. And you might have noticed that you get information about weather. आपको weather की information मिलती रहती है from weather reports and forecast, which are published where? They are published in newspapers, or you might hear them through radio, okay? You might watch them on television, okay? So continuously they are giving us information about the weather conditions, okay? Now children, forecasting the weather conditions is helpful or not? Yes, it is very helpful. Weather forecasts are particularly helpful as they warn us in advance about approaching storms and heavy rains. Okay, forecast means पूर्वानुमान और एंटिसिपेशन. ओके, अगर आप फोरकास्ट करोगे वेदर कंडीशंस, देन दे वॉर्न अस इन एडवांस. वो हमें एडवांस में वॉर्न कर देते हैं. अबाउट वॉट? अबाउट अप्रोचिंग स्टॉर्म्स एंड हैवी रेन्स. कोई आंधी तूफान आने वाला है, हैवी रेन्स होने वाली है. देन इफ़ वी आर नोइंग दैट थिंग इन एडवांस, तो हम कोई प्रिकॉशंस ले सकते हैं, राइट? सो दैट इज़ वाई weather forecast is very helpful. Now I think children, both these terms weather and climate are clear in your mind. Okay, then how weather forecast is helpful, that also we studied. Now we will study about some elements that determine weather and climate. Okay, so let's start with that. First element is air temperature. See, the sun is the chief source of heat and light for the earth. That you all know, that the main source of heat and light for our planet earth is the sun. Okay, it radiates or sends out energy in all directions. Okay, being far away from the sun, the earth receives only a very small fraction of this energy. अब ये जो energy send करता है sun, ओके, बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स डिस्टेंस, हमारा अर्थ का जो सन से डिस्टेंस है, बिकॉज आवर प्लैनेट इज़ फार अवे फ्रॉम द सन, आवर प्लैनेट रिसीव्स वेरी स्मॉल फ्रैक्शन ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर एनर्जी विच इज़ रेडिएटेड बाय द सन. नेक्स्ट दे आर टेलिंग चिल्ड्रन दैट द सोलर एनर्जी which is received by our planet Earth, what it is known as? It is known as incoming solar radiation, or you can say insolation. Okay. Page number 13, on the left side at the top, children. Now, the energy that reaches the Earth passes through the atmosphere before reaching the Earth's surface. ये जो energy हमें sun से मिलती है हमारे planet Earth को, ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट पासिस थ्रू द एटमॉस्फियर. पहले वो कहाँ से पास होती है? इट पासिस थ्रू द एटमॉस्फियर. रिमेंबर वी स्टडीड अबाउट द डिफरेंट लेयर्स ऑफ एटमॉस्फियर रिसेंटली. ओके, so it passes through that atmosphere first and then it reaches the Earth's surface. But it heats up the atmosphere only slightly. The Earth's surface, however, gets heated on absorbing this energy. Okay, now the energy which is received by the sun, children, that passes through the atmosphere, right? वो हमने पढ़ा. But atmosphere को ये slightly ही heat up करती है. And when it reaches the Earth's surface, okay, Earth's surface gets heated when on absorbing this energy. सबसे पहले ये एनर्जी एब्जॉर्ब करता है एंड देन इट गेट्स हीटेड. हीटेड सरफेस देन स्टार्ट्स रेडिएटिंग हीट. अब ये जो हीटेड सरफेस है चिल्ड्रन, दैट स्टार्ट्स रेडिएटिंग. रेडिएटिंग मीन्स सेंडिंग आउट. ओके, सो इट स्टार्ट्स सेंडिंग आउट द हीट. The air around us is heated by this radiation. और इस radiation की वजह से जो air है around us, that gets heated. Now next children, they are telling that for measuring air temperature, special thermometers are used. Okay, and the scale which is most commonly used for measuring that is Celsius scale, which is named after its inventor, Anders Celsius. And what is the other name of Celsius scale? Centigrade scale. And the unit is written as, you can see, degree Celsius. On this scale, the freezing point of water is taken as 0 degree. What is the freezing point taken on this particular scale? 0 degree. While boiling point is taken as 100 degree. This you all might have studied, right? Now in the next paragraph, children, they are talking about the cyclic movement of air near the Earth's surface. Now what is that cyclic movement of air? See, the heating of the atmosphere has important consequences. Consequences means उसके परिणाम. Okay, उसके बहुत important results होते हैं. What? See, For example, warm air जो है which is near the earth's surface, it expands. वो पहले expand होती है, it becomes lighter and lighter जैसे होती है वो ऊपर rise होती है, it starts rising, okay? And as it rises, it gradually gets cooled. जैसे जैसे वो rise होती है वो क्या होना start हो जाती है? Cool, okay? It gets cooling. Now this cool air, children, being heavy, sinks down. ये जो कूल एयर है वो हैवी होती है और उसकी वजह से हैवी होने की वजह से वो नीचे सिंक हो जाती है, इट सिंक्स डाउन. ओके, नाउ warm air, thus they have written, see, thus as warm air rises from the surface, warm air जो है वो rise कर रही है, right, from the surface, cool air is coming down to replace it. So this cyclic movement of air near the earth's surface keeps on going. The next topic of our discussion is variations in temperature. Variations means parivartan, or you can say transformation. Okay, now let us study this. Now children, the temperature at a particular place, एक particular जगह का जो temperature है, that does not remain constant. Constant means स्थिर, stable. It keeps on changing. Okay, it keeps on variating with the time of the day and the time of the year. Now, how do they calculate the average temperature of the day, children? See here it is given the maximum and minimum temperatures recorded at a place on a particular day can be used to calculate the mean or average temperature for that day. एक particular day का वो लोग average temperature कैसे निकालते हैं? Maximum, उस दिन का maximum temperature and minimum temperature, these two are recorded and then they calculate the average temperature of that particular day. Understood? For this they have given you an example also, so just go through the same, okay? Read it out. And here coming to the right side, see. Temperature also varies from place to place, mainly due to variations in latitude, altitude and distance from the sea. Temperature जो है वो vary करता है, differ करता है हर एक जगह पे. From one place to another it is different, okay? Why? Mainly the reasons of variation in temperature is because of latitude, then altitude, that is height, and then the other reason for this is distance from the sea. Sea से उस place का distance कितना है वो भी बहुत matter करता है. Understood? Now in the first point, children, they are telling the higher the latitude of a place, the lower is its temperature. Latitude here refers to the distance of a place on the earth's surface from the equator, okay, in relation to north and south pole. Then in the next point they are telling the higher the altitude of a place, the lower is its temperature. Altitude is defined as how high a location is above the sea level. तो जितना हाइट पे होगा एक प्लेस, ओके, लोअर विल बी इट्स टेम्परेचर. अंडरस्टूड? Now in the next point, children, they are telling the greater the distance of a place from the sea, the higher is its range of temperature. जितना ज़्यादा distance होगा कोई place का sea से, okay, उतना ही ज़्यादा वहाँ का temperature होगा. Okay, the places near the sea, they have moderate temperature than the places away from it. Okay, the difference is created because water absorbs the heat and holds it for a longer time. Understood? Now the next part of the chapter, children, we will be doing in the next lecture. Okay, so read thoroughly till the portion we have done. End of session. Hope you all enjoyed it. See you in the next lecture.